in September, this is obviously a fairly new development, and we have to wait and see. The structure of the qualifications is based on the typical structure of a quality organisation in an organisation. Now, the words on here, I have to say, are typical of industry, but it's not that difficult to look at the structure of an educational establishment and say, well, do we have those sort of functions, and what would we call them? So over on the left-hand side, on that middle band, it's got systems management, someone responsible for the systems that are operating in the school or the college. What are the principles behind it, and do we understand the sort of principles of organisation which are contained in various quality documentation? The next one is product development, and it could be curriculum development, new courses, new structures, and so on. We develop these things. There are principles that enable us to do these things effectively, starting from who is the customer or the intended user and working back and designing suitable processes and content. That applies to any industry. We have people who supply us with goods and services. Are they meeting our needs and satisfying the requirements? And, of course, the business process improvement. There's never been an end to man's creativity. Always we can find better ways of doing things, and any organisation that wants to be in the forefront in the future should have a business improvement strategy, or a school improvement, or a college improvement, or a university improvement strategy. And you should involve, as they did in the Lucknow example, involve the students themselves. And we need to be able to audit. We've got external auditing. I know that there's papers on the programme today, but we ought to be able to look at ourselves as well and say, how well are we doing? And all of these things have got principles behind them. We should understand those principles. And then underneath that, we've got the level 3, which is, level 3 is about school leaving people early in their careers. And we really ought to have everybody aware of these principles, even if they're not going to be directly involved in doing anything with it. So level 5 are the people who are actually the practitioners. Level 7 would be the people at the top who are actually managing all of this and making sure that they're doing the best they possibly can. In the new structure, there are the level 3 that I mentioned, which are available to anybody, and you'll see that there are 6 units in there. Auditing is not actually in the in that particular level 3 qualification. People in quality is the first one, and it's very similar to people quality in the level 5, but it's you have it more of an appreciation of the subject rather than in-depth activity. Management system models, how they work, monitoring and measuring and so forth. And then the level 5, which is more in-depth because these are the people who you're expecting to be practitioners of them. And there's a syllabus for each of those. And people can mix and match these units. And so depending on how you mix them and match them, you will then can end up with a certificate or a qualification that fits in with that structure that I put on an earlier slide. If we just take a brief look at the business improvement certificate, that includes business research. If you're going to do improvement, you obviously need to know how to do research and conduct research properly. The people in quality, because there's all the group dynamics involved with that, how to collect data, analyse data, wring the meaning out of data, and all of the monitoring associated with it. And then the implementation of the improvements, you're managing change, you need to fit that in with the structure of the existing organisation, overcoming resistance to change, getting the support of other people and so forth, and using quality as a means of improving the organisation overall. So that would be the content of that one, and obviously we don't have time to go through all of those. The initial reactions to, I say to the proposal, it already exists now and it's in place. Do the qualifications meet employer needs in your space? The early indications are very positive, but as yet we haven't had any serious reaction from the education field. I think the education field is probably too much engaged right now in making the changes themselves. Do the new membership grades provide access to professional recognition? At the moment we don't have any feedback on that. It's on the web and people are encouraged, but we haven't got enough data to actually say yes or no. Feedback that we're getting externally from the UK, organisations that are concerned with quality in Japan are very aware of what the CQI has done in the UK, as they are in the the United States. And the indications are very positive, and particularly in the case of Japan, and we're now talking very constructively to these organisations. And what we actually hope is, one, will put quality at the heart of every business and people at the heart of quality. That is part of the vision of the CQI. And the CQI welcomes serious discussion with educationalists from around the world, and particularly from this convention, in order to seek compatibility and a common approach that's understood and recognised by both industry, students and academia. What we hope is that as globalisation continues and people move around the world from one country to another, but possibly within the same company, large multinationals, that if they have a qualification that they achieved in one country, that it will be understood and recognised in the other countries. At the moment that hasn't happened. If you're qualified in the USA, the qualification structure is quite different from some other countries. It's different again in Japan, and I think this is something that's up for debate right now, and hopefully this paper will help to stimulate that. So I'd like to thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you luck with all of your endeavours, and let's create a world fit for our kids to live in. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hutchin.